Hello, we did our cultural plunge on sorority culture, specifically Lambda Theta Alpha, and this is LC11 with Charlie, Trinity, and Zay. So, Lambda Theta Alpha is a Latin-based organization and the first Latin sorority founded in the United States in 1975. Lambda Theta Alpha follows the motto Latin by tradition, not by definition. So, it represents over 120 different cultural identities nationwide. LTA was founded to provide support systems for Latin women who went against the crowd and pursued higher education, since at the time it was expected of Latin women to stay home and raise the family and keep their home. So here's a photo of the founding mothers of LTA. There were 17. They are not all pictured in this photograph, though. So LTA was founded at Keene University again in 1975, but the first LTA chapter at Texas A&M was not started until September 13th of 1998. Some other important events were the board of directors was founded in 1987. In 1992, LTA became a national sorority when the first chapter outside of New Jersey was established. And then in 2015, Lambda Theta Alpha was selected as a bright spot by the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for Hispanics. Some recent research is there are now over 175 chapters of Lambda Theta Alpha. It is the largest Latin-based organization in the nation. Their national philanthropy is with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and they have been working with them since 2010. And since 1975, they have welcomed more than 5,000 members across 23 states and Puerto Rico. I think the importance of Lambda Theta Alpha is that sororities and Greek life as a whole has a reputation of being exclusive and kind of a part of a class system. And I think it's important to recognize that this is not always the case, and that organizations such as LTA facilitate friendship and a welcoming environment for those who might not feel welcome elsewhere. Inclusivity is an important pillar of society and in any classroom. And I think that K through 12 schools should offer more clubs and programs for students that don't feel that they fit in or have a place, and also that highlight the importance of cultural diversity. The Lambda Theta Alpha purpose statement is the purpose of Lambda Theta Alpha shall be to provide a sisterhood based on unity, love, and respect in an effort to foster the development of strong leaders who will then provide and practice political, social, and cultural activities. It shall also be the purpose of Lambda Theta Alpha to promote unity through charitable and educational programs, maintain a high standard of learning, and serve as a voice for all students.
We didn't really go into the event with many expectations. Really, we expected cornstarch eggs, but there were whipped cream plates instead. And in terms of setup, we thought it would be, a big event where there's lots of members and there's posters and signs and music playing. But what we actually found was that it was a really simple setup. There was a single table with some supplies, a tarp, and a few chairs, as you can see in the photo here. And they did end up doing whipped cream to the face. I believe it was $2 for one and $5 for two. And instead of having matching outfits, the members had generic athletic clothes. And there were also a lot of guys there helping the members solicit and advertise. And kind of relating that to preconceptions, I would say that no, we didn't really have any preconceptions validated. We did expect a more dressed up event, but all things considered, it was pretty casual, and everything was pretty laid back and silly and just encouraging people to interact. And there was, a lot of interacting and just fun. In terms of culture, the experience made us realize how our own culture sometimes lacks certain group dynamics and involvement with our communities. The event showcased how people from various backgrounds can come together for a good cause. It also made us realize how sororities and fraternities can foster these encouraging and interactive environments. I mean, the whole thing was a bit silly, and it really just, invited people in and and it was for a good cause for the St. Jude Hospital. And so, in terms of interactions with other cultures, it can show how like some people thrive in group settings, and being in those settings can help them reach out and meet other people, and just spread diversity. For education, this event can kind of show you how to create meaningful and positive interactions between students, and it also can encourage you to create projects where they communicate with each other and then help those around them. It can also teach students to consider diverse cultural backgrounds and the importance of experiencing things rather than creating preconceptions or assumptions. And in terms of interactions in general, it can help you create more intentional and meaningful interactions. As we saw with the sorority members, they planned an event where they could reach others and help an important cause. And it also shows how, maybe you can leave your comfort zone and try new experiences. Moving on to pop culture, in America, sororities are often viewed to exist for networking or social experiences, and as we mentioned before, it can also include like classism. They focus on ideas of sisterhood and collaboration. However, there are also many negative views around sororities that revolve around socioeconomic status and, again, classism. And then there's also hazing and strict rules and initiation. In terms of like global reach, Greek life is not prevalent internationally, so those from other countries view sororities only through an American lens, so however American media portrays it, most commonly through movies and social media. Some examples are Legally Blonde, which portrays sorority members as blonde, rich, and not very intelligent. The girls in the movie only focus on their looks and having a good time. Social media trends also influence how sororities are perceived. For example, the how much is their outfit breakdown for Rush Week. Some of the outfits end up totaling in the thousands, and trends like these tend to perpetuate the stereotypes associated with sororities. There are also the matters of, again, hazing and initiation. In most movies that portray Greek life, members and potential members are put through humiliating circumstances in order to earn their place in the organization. Although there are likely some Greek house chapters that do utilize hazing, numerous society members criticize this portrayal in media, saying that it's exaggerated and false. So yeah, pop culture tends to portray it as sort of this negative and superficial thing, but as we've seen from the event that we attended and the sorority that we looked into, it's more so about sisterhood and helping your community and making connections that can last a lifetime and reaching different people. So I would say pop culture definitely portrays it in a negative light, whereas it's completely different in reality. For our activity/assessment, these are the 4 questions we came up with. How might sororities contribute to the culture and community of their universities? Are there critiques of sorority culture that are valid? What efforts are being made to increase the diversity and inclusivity of sororities? And why is it important for universities to establish minority-based chapters?
When it comes to multicultural education, Lambda Theta Alpha is trying to provide a safe space for female students of the Latina culture because it could be hard for some of them to find a place they belong on such a big campus. So when connecting Lambda Theta Alpha to a multicultural principle, the first one that we saw fit was multicultural education must start where the people are. For our cultural plunge, this sorority was trying to raise money for St. Jude's, which is something they really believe in. They were doing this by allowing people on campus to purchase plates of whipped cream and pie them in the face. By doing this, they were expecting their sorority's culture and allowing different cultures to connect on campus because of a shared importance of raising money for the children at St. Jude's. The second principle we chose is that multicultural education must be integrated through all curriculum levels. Sororities do a great job of expressing this principle because they help combine people of similar and different cultures to create their own, to help create a more multicultural education throughout the secondary education levels. The third principle we chose was multicultural education should incorporate multicultural resources from the local community. Going back to our cultural plunge, it was a great example of this since they were allowing the outside community to come in and help them raise money for St. Jude's, which is all All of the children who are being treated there come from a different culture of their own, allowing all of these cultures to come together. One of the main goals of this sorority is to provide a place for females of a similar culture to plug in and connect in such a vast society. Two of the teaching strategies that we came up with to help students learn the importance of making connections to other students when many different cultures are present. One of them is identity charts. It is a way for students to write down elements that they use to identify themselves, and then from there going around and figuring out what similarities they have on these charts and making connections through bonding with their similarities and differences. The second teaching strategy, which is kind of a speed dating concept, it forces students to talk to people that they would not normally talk to over a topic of their choice or an assigned topic, allowing the students to get to know each other and helping them break the ice that different cultures might form. Both of these strategies are great ways to get the students talking to each other and forming those friendships in the classroom and the school system. Allowing for multicultural education to happen because these students are learning who they are while also acknowledging that other students have similar identities and cultures while others have differences, but it's okay to still bond over those differences. During this project, we learned that leaving the K-12 system can be challenging, especially when trying to plug into the outside world. Colleges are full of different cultures and multicultural education is everywhere. We learned that it's important to learn while also being open to different cultures, but it's also important to find a place to plug in. This can be through cultural connections and groups such as sororities.